Hey everyone, welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Jason, and I'm super excited to be here with you again today.
And I'm Julia. Thank you so much for joining us. We're really happy you're spending your time improving your English with us.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever started speaking in English and suddenly your mind just goes blank?
Or maybe you know the words, but when you start talking, you stop, pause, think, and then say, for 5 seconds?
Yes. And those pauses can feel very uncomfortable. Sometimes you feel nervous. Sometimes you feel embarrassed. And sometimes you just want to stop speaking completely.
But here's the good news, pausing while speaking is completely normal. Even native speakers pause.
Exactly. The real problem is not pausing. The problem is when pauses become too long, too frequent, and they break your confidence.
And many learners think, maybe I don't have enough vocabulary, or maybe my grammar is weak.
But actually, speaking without long pauses is not only about vocabulary or grammar. It's about training your brain to think and respond smoothly.
Yes, speaking smoothly is a skill, and like any skill, you can improve it with the right practice.
So in today's episode, we're going to show you practical techniques to help you speak more naturally, more smoothly, and with fewer awkward pauses.
We'll talk about why pauses happen, how to think faster in English, how to use connectors and natural fillers, and even a simple daily practice routine.
By the end of this episode, you'll understand that speaking without pausing is not magic, it's training.
So relax, get comfortable, and let's start learning how to speak more smoothly and confidently in English.
Let's begin. All right, Julia. Before we learn how to speak smoothly, I think it's important to understand why we pause in the first place.
Yes, Jason. I see this all the time. Many learners pause because they're translating in their head from their native language to English.
Exactly. Your brain is trying to find the right word in English, and during that time, boom, a pause appears.
Another reason is grammar. Some learners stop because they want every sentence to be perfect. They think, did I say it correctly? And that thought makes them freeze.
Right. And then there's fear. Fear of making mistakes. Fear of being judged. Even fear of saying something wrong in a simple conversation. That fear often leads to long pauses.
Also, some people pause because they have too many ideas at once. Their mind is saying, should I talk about this first or that? And the brain doesn't know where to start.
Exactly. So the main reasons we pause are translating, grammar perfection, fear, and thinking too many ideas at once.
Yes, and sometimes it's just lack of speaking practice. If you don't speak regularly, your brain and mouth are not trained to work together quickly.
The good news is, all of these causes can be improved with practice and simple techniques. You don't need to be perfect, you just need smoothness.
Yes, and today we'll show you exactly how to train your brain to speak naturally, without those long, uncomfortable pauses.
So, now that we know why pauses happen, let's move on to the first secret. Thinking in ideas, not words. That's a game changer for smooth speaking. All right, Julia. Here's one of the most important secrets to speaking smoothly in English. Think in ideas, not words.
Yes, so many learners pause because they are searching for the perfect word. But if you focus on the idea first, your speaking becomes much faster and smoother.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Your brain sends the message first, and words come second. When you try to find the perfect word while thinking, that's when pauses happen.
And one simple way to practice is using idea chunks. Instead of trying to say a full long sentence, break your thoughts into small chunks. For example, instead of saying, I think that learning English every day is very important because it helps you communicate better, you can say, I think learning English is important. Practice every day. It helps you communicate.
Exactly. Short idea blocks. They're easier to say, and your brain doesn't freeze looking for words.
Another tip is to use a 3-word idea method. Think of the main idea in 3 simple words, then expand it naturally.
For example, if your idea is traveling is fun, just start with that. Then add, I love learning new cultures, or meeting new people is exciting. Step by step, your speech flows naturally.
Yes, so remember, ideas first, words second. The smoother your brain sends ideas, the less you pause.
And don't worry about grammar or perfect vocabulary at this stage. Flow comes before perfection.
Exactly. Flow is king, and once your ideas flow, your English will sound natural and confident.
All right, now that we've learned the golden rule, the next step is using simple sentences. First, another technique to speak without pauses. All right, Julia, now let's talk about another secret. To speaking without long pauses, use simple sentences first.
Yes, many learners try to create long, complex sentences, but the longer the sentence, the more chances to pause, hesitate, or make mistakes.
Exactly. Even native speakers often speak in short sentences. Short sentences are easy to say, easy to understand, and easy to connect.
For example, instead of saying, I believe that learning English every day is extremely important because it will improve your communication skills and help you in your career, you can say, I think learning English every day is important. It improves communication. It helps in your career.
Yes, short sentences create a natural rhythm. You can also connect them with words like and, so, then, because to make your speech smoother.
So the tip is, don't try to be perfect or too advanced at first. Start simple. Short sentences first, then gradually add more details.
Exactly. Simple sentences are your foundation for smooth, confident speaking. Once you master them, longer sentences will come naturally.
Perfect. And speaking of connecting sentences, our next section will show you how connectors help your speech flow even more naturally.
All right, Julia. Now let's talk about a simple but powerful trick to speak without pausing, connectors.
Yes, connectors are words like and so because, but then actually, basically, and I mean, they help link ideas smoothly so your speech doesn't feel choppy.
Exactly. Think of connectors as bridges between your thoughts. Without them, your sentences can sound like separate pieces, and that's when pauses happen.
For example, instead of saying, I like traveling, I learn about cultures, I meet new people, you can say, I like traveling because I learn about cultures and meet new people.
Yes, just adding those little words keeps your speech flowing naturally. It also gives your brain time to prepare the next idea without a long silence.
And connectors don't have to be complicated. Start with the simple ones and then gradually use more advanced ones like
Exactly. Practice connecting short sentences with these words, and you'll notice your pauses shrink and your speaking becomes much smoother.
All right. Next, we'll learn about fillers that sound natural, which are another way to avoid awkward silence.
All right, Julia. Now let's talk about something learners often get wrong, pauses with silence.
Yes, silence can feel awkward, especially when speaking English. But the trick is to use natural fillers instead of letting silence take over.
Exactly. Natural fillers are words or short phrases like Well, you know, let me think, kind of, I guess, or honestly. They give your brain a moment to catch up while keeping your speech flowing.
For example, instead of stopping completely to think, you can say, "Well, I think learning English is fun," or, "Traveling teaches you a lot."
Yes, even native speakers use fillers. It's normal to pause a little, but using fillers makes it sound natural and confident instead of awkward.
The key is not to overuse them. A few simple fillers are enough to give your brain time without breaking the flow.
Exactly. Practice speaking with these fillers, and your pauses will feel smoother and much less stressful.
Perfect. And the next step is training your brain to respond faster. That's where the real improvement in fluency happens.
All right, Julia. Now that we know how to use ideas, simple sentences, connectors, and fillers, let's talk about another key point training your brain to respond faster.
Yes, many pauses happen because learners think too long before answering. Your brain is translating, checking grammar, and looking for words all at the same time. That's slow.
Exactly. One technique is the 3-second rule. Try to answer a question or start speaking within 3 seconds. Don't overthink, just give your idea.
Another method is quick response exercises. For example, ask yourself simple questions like, "What did you eat today?" or "What's your favorite movie?" and answer immediately. Don't translate, just speak.
Yes, even if your answer isn't perfect, the goal is speed and flow. The faster your brain gets used to producing English, the fewer pauses you'll have.
You can also practice thinking in English before speaking. Instead of thinking in your native language and translating, try to form your idea directly in English.
Exactly. With regular practice, your brain becomes faster, your speech becomes smoother, and long pauses slowly disappear.
Perfect. And the next secret is speaking with rhythm and controlling your breathing that helps your speech sound natural and confident.
All right, Julia. Now let's talk about something many learners overlook: speaking rhythm and breathing control.
Yes. Pauses often happen because people speak word by word or run out of breath. Speaking smoothly is not about speed, it's about rhythm.
Exactly. Think of your speech like music. You speak in groups of words, not single words. For example, instead of saying, "I like learning English every day," you can say, "I like learning English every day," all in one smooth rhythm.
And breathing is important too. Take natural breaths between phrases, not in the middle of a sentence. That keeps your speech fluid and your voice calm.
A good practice is shadowing. Listen to a native speaker and repeat with the same rhythm and intonation. You'll learn how pauses naturally fit and how to breathe correctly.
Yes, rhythm plus breathing equals natural, confident speech. Once you master these, long, awkward pauses almost disappear.
Exactly. And next, we'll share a simple daily 5-minute anti-pause practice routine to make all these tips part of your daily habit. All right, Julia, now let's make this practical. All these tips are great, but how do learners actually practice daily?
Yes, the best way is a simple 5-minute anti-pause routine. Just 5 minutes a day can make a big difference.
Here's a simple plan. Minute 1. Describe objects around you. For example, this is my pen. It's blue. I use it for writing. Minute 2. Speak about your day. Today, I woke up early. I had breakfast. I studied English.
Minute 3. Answer random questions. You can ask yourself, "What's your favorite food?" or "What do you like to do on weekends?" Answer immediately without pausing too long.
Minute 4. Repeat a short podcast or video sentence by sentence. Try to match the rhythm and connectors.
Minute 5. Free talk. Pick any topic: hobbies, travel, dreams, and just speak naturally. Don't worry about mistakes. The goal is smooth flow.
Exactly. 5 minutes may sound short, but if you do it daily, your brain will get used to thinking and speaking quickly. Pauses will become shorter and less frequent.
Yes, and once you build this habit, longer conversations will feel much easier and more natural.
Perfect. And next, we'll cover some common mistakes learners make when trying to speak smoothly. All right, Julia. Now let's talk about some common mistakes learners make when trying to speak smoothly.
Yes. The first one is trying to sound too advanced. Learners often use complicated words and long sentences, which slows them down and causes pauses.
Exactly. The second mistake is memorizing sentences. When you rely on memorized lines, your brain freezes if the conversation changes.
Another one is waiting for perfect grammar. Pausing to check every word is a big fluency killer.
And speaking too fast is also a problem. Rushing makes you more likely to stumble, pause awkwardly, or lose confidence.
So remember, keep it simple, focus on flow, and practice speaking naturally. Mistakes are okay. Smoothness comes first.
Perfect. Next, we'll give some motivation and confidence tips so you can speak without fear. All right, Julia, before we finish, let's give our listeners a quick confidence boost.
Yes, remember, speaking smoothly takes practice. Don't worry about mistakes. Fluency is more important than perfection.
Every time you speak, even with small pauses, your brain is learning. Keep practicing, stay patient, and celebrate small improvements.
Exactly. Confidence grows with action. Speak as much as you can, and you'll notice your pauses getting shorter every day.
Yes, keep going. You've got this. All right, Julia, let's quickly recap what we learned today.
Yes, we talked about why we pause, how to think in ideas, use simple sentences, connectors, natural fillers, and train our brain to respond faster.
We also shared rhythm, breathing tips, a 5-minute daily practice routine, and common mistakes to avoid.
So here's your challenge. Today, try speaking for 5 minutes using these tips. Focus on flow, connectors, and idea chunks.
And don't forget practice every day. Stay confident, and your pauses will get shorter and shorter.
If you found today's episode helpful, hit subscribe, like, and share it with your friends who want to speak English more smoothly.
Yes, keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next episode. Happy speaking!